Throw him in jail. Full blown investigation. This is what I love. Oh yeah, throw him in jail. Yes, a bunch of them need to be thrown in jail. Yeah. That mohawk leaning to the left, to the right. That low top fade mohawk on his last leg. Throw that brother in jail.
So you don't believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, sorry, 1 second, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324, and is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last?
I know y'all heard that. Put your hands behind your back. You got to be thrown in jail, prison, the slammer, and let him just sit in there and look at the wall. Yeah, with that mohawk on his last leg. And it's a bunch of them, not just that in Chicago mayor. It's a whole bunch of them need to put their hands behind their back and be held accountable. Full blown investigation. Come on now, let's do it.
Mayor Johnston, coming back to you. How much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone.
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's 1%
He doesn't even
of the
know.
overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that
how
was
much did
sent
the
from
city
us
of New York
from the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number, and if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams.
Put his hands behind his back. A disgrace. Right there, front and center. An absolute disgrace and embarrassment. Then ran Chicago into the ground.
How much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers' dollars.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people.
He came ready, didn't he?
Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
Brother Adams came ready, didn't he? Yeah, as long as he get his pardon. Oh, man.
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city
number.
of Boston has spent on illegal immigration.
We
Are you
don't
out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or
policies.
not, Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage
We
your
have
budget?
Want to really see something that's said? Take a look at what happened.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
What's going on, family? Hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life. Sorry if I'm a little rough. I ate an egg sandwich this morning, no drink. Yeah. 2 pieces of bread and 2 eggs. Nothing to drink. I think that was a bad decision. They're trying to kill me over here, y'all. I'll be back home in a couple hours. I'll be back in the United States in a couple hours. I'm going back to Texas. Oh, man. I'm out the country right now. And thank y'all for all the love and support. Let me know how y'all feel about the travel setup. How's it been? I've seen a lot of you saying it's been amazing. I know a lot of y'all miss my home setup in the studio. But the travel setup has got it done, you know? But, let me clear myself, man. I told you, it's not, I don't know why. What I did that I have eating an egg sandwich with nothing to drink. But we had to get into this, man. This clown, you know, that ran Chicago into the ground. This fella here, that mohawk, fro top mohawk on his last leg. This guy here, man, a disgrace, you know.
This Negro right here first. Please come here first. Because you know what? We're going to help you. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite clips.
Please come here first. Because you know what? We're going to help you. We want to forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you
We want to
keep your,
forensic.
hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time.
Stop her time.
You told Trump you ain't gonna blink? Well, we ain't either. You ain't above the law. And where you gonna run to when Trump pours that Trump card out on you?
There's a 10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals. You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes. I ain't gonna do that. You campaign went around doing that. And here we are right now. You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first.
Please, y'all put his hands behind his back. You know, but he's getting fully investigated right now. And I'm here for it. I am, you know. This is going to Pam Bondi immediately.
Yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses.
Way worse than just misled. Competent. It's a lot of things we can put in this category.
I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that.
Put him in jail. Especially that Brandon fellow with that mohawk. Put him in jail. I need to see an example made out of him. Please. But let's get into this.
Now, y'all, this is a follow-up from this week's congressional testimony by your boy, your favorite mayor, Brandon Johnson of Chicago. Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I feel bad for Mayor Johnson.
I don't.
He's obviously highly educated, and for some reason, he's just making the wrong decisions. And this is why I think a lot of people start to postulate that there are these kind of sinister forces behind the scenes that are causing people to make these inexplicable decisions. How can you explain spending all of your city's money on people who the federal government is saying not only don't have permission to be in the country, but the federal government wants to kick out of the country? Like, how can you explain that? So here you can see Brandon Johnson's second term dreams may already be dead in the water a poll
Been shot.
reveals. The blue city
Worst approval rating ever. Lowest approval rating ever. It's shot.
mayor's favorability rating fell to just 6.6%.
That is a disgrace.
With a 80% unfavorable rating, which is significantly lower than that of 5 hypothetical candidates for the 2027 Chicago mayoral race. So, as we can see, Mayor Johnson is suffering probably the lowest approval rate in the history of the world. He knows this, and he goes in front of Congress and he defends one of the main policies that has caused him to have such a low approval rating. Why is he doing this? This is what I don't get. Somebody explain it to me. Y'all comments are open already. Somebody explain it. This can't be the best idea of an intelligent person. So give me something real, y'all, because I just don't get it. Now, he did play dumb though. Okay, so that doesn't help. When he was up and testifying, this is what happened. Let's take a quick look at him playing dumb. So this might not help.
Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's one.
Either he playing dumb or it's just really, really bad that they just don't know. One of the two.
Percent, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone.
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
So as you can see, he played dumb. He played dumb. But then in the interview after his congressional testimony, we can see that Mayor Johnson was able to answer the question. And not only does he have, and the strange thing is he has exact figures about the Texas budget, but not about the Chicago budget. Can y'all explain? Can make it make sense, y'all? Come on. So here we have a post from reporter William J. Kelly. I think he's the person who asked Mayor Johnson that question. And he says, not to toot my own horn, but I get more answers out of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson with one question and one follow-up than the entire oversight committee got in 6 hours of testimony. However, this tidbit from Mayor Johnson was a bald-faced lie. Under Johnson and Lightfoot, their spending on illegal immigration is much more than 1% of Chicago's budget. 2 migrant shelter vendors alone received in excess of $600 million. And that doesn't include the millions paid to migrant slumlord and ex-con Remo Poselli for use of his properties, the culturally sensitive food vendor contracts, healthcare and food subsidies, and all the hidden spending at the Chicago Department of Children and Family Services. So this reporter is saying not only was Mayor Johnson lying that he didn't know the figures, but when he did finally say the figures after the fact, even that was a lie. Now, of course, y'all, I don't know, but I do find it it's mind-blowing that he would get up there and say, I don't know Chicago figures, but let me tell you about what Texas spent and what their budget is. What?
With that 1%, why couldn't you put a specific number on that? And is that just asylum seekers? Are they conflating undocumented residents?
Well, that's a good question. That's why I was very specific about those who were seeking asylum, right? Because unfortunately, there was a lack of understanding by the Republican Party around what we experienced as a city of Chicago. And it wasn't so much I wasn't willing to give the specific number. What I was working to point out is that the state of Texas spent roughly $221 million to bus migrants, asylum seekers across this country, which essentially was 1% of their overall budget. Now, over the last 3 years, the city of Chicago has spent, less than $300 million. We have spent 20 times the amount with new investments on Black Chicago.
So y'all, as you know, y'all, this is I just find all of this mind-blowing, mind-boggling. I'm trying to understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay? Mayor Johnson's going to survive politically because it seems like it might be over for him. It really does. But I don't see why he's sacrificing his political.
It been over. I don't know why we got to talk about this, that, blah, 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 blah. It been over. It's shot. A lot for it's been over for a lot of these Democrats. Transmission shot, motor shot, same time, blown in the middle of the freeway. Take the trash to the junkyard, smash it, slam it again. Over.
Career for this issue. I just don't get it. Let me know in the comments what you out to.
Well, Sanctuary City has affected us over the years now. Is I always go back to this line I've used numerous times. Is when we became a sanctuary city, it was easy to do. It's a pat on our backs or a pat on our administration's back because the border's 1,450 miles away. If the borders were open, the last place we thought people would come would be Chicago, let alone sent to Chicago. And they came in large amounts of people, up to 250, 60,000 plus, probably more than that. It has hurt our infrastructure. It has hurt a city that is already facing an astronomical amount of crime here because of policies that have been passed by progressives and socialists in the city of Chicago. It's made the criminal more of the victim and the victim more of the criminal. And you're bringing all these people here and promising them a better way of life, and you have no programs set up for them. In 1985, when Harold Washington first became the sanctuary city to present date, not a dime has been allocated towards becoming a sanctuary city. And because of that, this better way of life is just, you're here hopefully to be, in the administration's eyes, you are here hopefully to be a vote in the upcoming elections. That didn't work. So there's a lot of people just standing around doing nothing that unfortunately are reverting to crime, looking for a way to support themselves and their family in crime. It happened in my own community, my own ward. We had a homicide of a man by two illegal immigrants that had murdered him. That one of those illegal immigrants was here on an ankle monitor that was put on them at the border.
Us conservatives, MAGA, Trumpers, Trump, right about everything. When we call it out, drag through the mud. I want to hear the truth. People are triggered. There's beautiful souls that should still be here with us. Rest in peace. I send my condolences to the family. But you got these Hollywood celebrities, other people get on there crying. Cry for the families. Democrats, stand up and clap. Have a heart. Be a human being. But you can't do that. You don't care. And this is why you get these results. This is why you get landslides. This is why you get people walking out, leaving, abandoning the ship. Lifelong Democrats, liberals. You spit on the people, forgot about the people. Don't care about the working class. I mean, man. And send us back our money. Give us back our money, please. Plus interest.
You know that this person's a criminal, and you're bringing them to a city that can handle more crime. The biggest part of this, too, is over the last 5 years, the past two administrations have demonized the police so much to the tune of we can't get anyone to take this job anymore.
Wow.
When I became a Chicago police officer, I took the test in 1990.
Salute to our first responders, all our law enforcement. We love you guys, man. We got a lot of veterans on the channel. I want to thank you all for your service. We've all been dragged through the mud, man. There are bad apples out there, though. There are bad apples. But man.
7, I took it with over 45,000 possible candidates. They can't get more than 2,000 people to take this job now, or to take the test to take the job.
It's getting worse.
They're fearful to take this job.
It's
so now you're bringing more crime to it. You're adding more terrible policies on behalf of law and order, and you're bringing more people into the fold. And unfortunately, some of them have to survive, and they're choosing to go to the way of crime to do so. So it has a tremendous effect on Chicago. There is no defense. The only defense is if he goes in there and speaks with his heart for what he wishes the world was and not what it really is, what the reality is. So there is no defense. It's cost taxpayers in the city of Chicago hundreds of millions of dollars and for no results. A lot of this money went to non-for-profit organizations where we have no track of what they've done or how it's helped anybody.
Send everybody back their money, man.
As far as the mayor going out there, he's going, it's the lamb going to the slaughter. And unless he pleads the fifth or just, says, I wish things were better, there's no answer for this. We should not have been a sanctuary city to begin with if we didn't put any funds or allocations appropriate aside to have this done. We shouldn't still be requesting to be a sanctuary city when we know federal dollars are going to be held from our city. You're punishing taxpayers. You punish them by using their money to help the illegals that were here and didn't help them at all. Now you're punishing them because we're going to get no federal funding because we're going to remain a sanctuary city. It's wrong. It's the worst thing we could be doing right now. We're looking at different revenue schemes to help our city budget. I mean, they tried to push a city budget less than 6 months ago that had a $360 million property tax increase on it because they know there's going to be no federal funds coming in the city over the next couple of years. And thank God I had enough aldermen to stand with me and me to stand with them to fight against this, to zero it down and say, no, you're not going to tax or hurt your residents because of what steps you're taking to not help them. We should be working here to tell you how bad this was. When President Trump first got elected, we had a couple individuals on the city floor, on the city council floor, looking to pass a resolution for this. If the federal government says that they're not going to give us funding because we're a sanctuary city, X, Y, and Z, and they're looking for people to support it and be co-sponsors. And I said, well, why wouldn't you write a resolution or an ordinance saying, hey, let's work with the administration until you feel fit that it's not working. You've already demonized his election prior to being in office. You demonized him in 2016 when he was elected, and we didn't work with him. And look where it's got us. Our infrastructure is falling apart. We don't have enough funds to support the city of Chicago. Prospering people are leaving the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois at astronomical numbers. Why don't we do that in the reverse? And if it doesn't work, then you could introduce your ordinance. And they refuse to do it because in Chicago, unfortunately, it's about politics and the party. It's never about people. And that's why